thing that I think that's been interesting about the pandemic is that it's kind of torn the veil off a little bit on some of these things, and people are seeing, like, yes, when there is a crisis like this, it's the mother who stays home, it's the mother who loses her job, it's the mother who gets depressed and anxious, and it's because there is a slightly different way that our brains and bodies are set up. I mean, I think that it might be more productive to figure out ways that we can help moms, that rather than just acting like moms are exactly the same as everybody else. And I think that the government, that there's really good policy ideas of how to do that. But I agree with you that I think it's odd that we try to sweep this whole thing under the rug when there's this whole burgeoning scientific literature about how moms' brains are different. Our bodies are inhabited by the cells of our children. We don't know why. We respond differently to stimuluses compared to other people. We can look at a brain scan and see how our minds light up differently. And I think we should celebrate those differences. I don't know. That's just that's been like one silver lining of the pandemic for me, that it's sort of pointed out a few disparities that I thought that I had seen in my own life, but have become clearer because we've been all kind of had our feet put to the fire here.
Well, it's true. And I've read the same stories about all these burdens falling on mothers during the pandemic, but they're written, it's always in this sort of politicized way, like, and it's because men aren't stepping up, like it's sort of punitive. And right. I used to say, like, children are the biggest sexists in the world, like it's not the dad. It's like, mommy, do it. Like, to the degree that you're even able to separate or pass off the chores and demands on somebody else, including a willing father, it's like the kids often won't let you do that. But I also, I remember writing about this a lot in my early days, because there was this attitude that, the minute a woman gives birth, the first, especially an ambitious woman or woman going back to her job, obviously the first thing she wants to do within the first 48 hours of a newborn's life is pass it off to somebody else,
Right.
Stick it in daycare, go back to work, because obviously going to work out of, anything but necessity is the best place to be. And it just takes into no account women's actual preferences, and especially those, not even just preferences, but these longings and changes that happen to us when we become mothers.
Yeah, and I think a real danger too is conflating some people may have that desire to go back to work immediately. They really may. And that's, I think, especially if you have rewarding work and that's where your support network is and all that stuff, I think that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I do think that, though we should, like you say, these longings that women may naturally have, it should be respected and studied and also kind of accounted for in the way we design policies. A woman who is going to have a neat job as like a journalist, say, or a doctor saving lives, and they really feel this need to go back, that's really different than like being a seasonal swing shift worker who gets no paid maternity leave and has to go back on the clock in 6 weeks. I think that can be a really devastating thing. And I think we would be really well served to just kind of acknowledge that, yeah, this is a natural longing, and you have this option. Nobody's making you take this option, but to design for women who maybe aren't able to advocate for themselves as well, to just give them a time when they're buffered from stresses that might otherwise drive them back to work. Because most people go to work because they need money, not because they want to fulfill,
right.
I think.
Right.
Right.